And we are live. Welcome to the show, the Fly Degenerates show. It's a very special day. We have a lot of NFL offseason to discuss, but the most important special thing that happened today, of course, is Flex is officially a Dominican.
No. Hey,
What?
there's one more hoop.
I wish I had
have.
a fucking
Like Guida.
yeah. Congratulations, bro.
No, I got one more step. I was advised that despite being in that building for 5 hours, that
no
there's
way.
yet one more thing that I have to do.
Oh no.
Yes.
I'm confused. What is
That's
going on?
whack.
Yeah, I was in that freaking building from 9:20. I had a 9:30 appointment. I got out of that building at 2:44.
I didn't even know that they did appointments. So for those who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Flex is procuring his dual citizenship. He will be a Dominican citizen as well as a Canadian, American citizen.
Peruvian. citizen.
So you had an appointment at the New York City Manhattan the consulate.
Yeah, constantly.
Now, how do you go about arranging an appointment at the because I want to make an appointment as well.
Well, first of all, in October, I filled out an application and paid and sent some paperwork in, and I thought it was a lost cause considering it was October 27th and this is July, so roughly 10 months ago. I sent in paperwork, and all of a sudden I got an email that says, "Oh, you have to be here." Last week I got an email that said this Thursday I have to be there at 9:30 with a couple other things and this and that. And it's kind of like, okay, well, it took 10 months for me to hear from you, so I have to drop everything I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
go down there. It's fucking hot. It felt like every Dominican in Washington Heights was in there, but there wasn't. It was just there was like it was like a labyrinth in there. Like every room you go to one room and then they take you to another room, which is just a smaller copy of each other room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's people trying to cut in line. There's people with heating sancocho that are working there. People,
Amazing.
we were standing on the line and it didn't move for 2 hours, and these people kept going in and out of. No, they weren't going in and out of the kitchen. They were going into the kitchen. They never came back out. And it was just, you could just it felt like a chimney, like you were next to a chimney truck. There was all, people just with coffee. There was a lady that had a bag of crackers for the coffee in her purse. This lady came out with cheese on a plate from a different room. No, just cheese, because they eat cheese, raw cheese with crackers and coffee, which I don't get.
Coffee,
But
I don't know.
listen, man, everybody in that bitch was eating besides everybody that was on the line, and the lady that had crackers in her purse. And I find I drank. At 2:30, it occurred to one of the people to offer me a small 8-ounce bottle of water, because that was the only thing I had the whole time in there. And on the way out, I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me get some coffee, because everybody was talking about the coffee.
Was there
Let me
music
get
playing?
a little bit of. No, surprisingly, there was not. On my way out, and I take 3 Domino sugar packets in my little styrofoam cup. I go to pour. There's not one drop of coffee that comes out of that big ass coffee pot. I was so fucking
Too
pissed.
late.
Oh,
It took too
no.
long.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I was teetering on, like where if you drive a car and the antifreeze isn't too good, or the radiator,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like getting to the heat, to the trouble zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I felt I was getting to right there. And then finally I was able to get out, but only to be told that in 45 days they're going to let me know when I can go back over there and do this all over again.
Damn.
That's
That
dope
sounds
though.
like a
You so
day.
you was born here though.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. That's ill that you do that you doing.
You gotta have options in life, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It
you don't
goes
want to
down,
be
you out.
cornered in. You don't want to be Saquon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going there. I'm not signing that franchise tag because
Mhm.
somewhere else is giving me money as well, and I might just go there. How about that for leverage?
Yep. Well, no one's giving him nothing, so
Nobody's giving me anything either.
a citizenship.
Now, where are you? Speaking of Saquon, where are you with Saquon? How concerned are you? What do you want? Where are we with the Saquon?
As a fan,
situation.
as a Giant fan, you know, I was gonna wear my Giant shit, but I'll save it. But yeah, man, you know, I love Saquon. You know, he's probably my favorite player in the Giants, I could say. So I love him. I want him to, you know, be here, but then I kind of understand it. Like I kind of understand where the league is going with the running back position, and I kind of like. I don't want to say I support it, but I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see it play out, whichever way it plays out. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I could give him a 3-year deal, you know, that he's happy with, I prefer that. But if we take this route where we tag him for 2 years, which I wouldn't do, I 1 year tag and then try to, you know, this whole year like try to operate who's the next guy, because I don't think Gray, the rookie Gray, is gonna do it. But I think he's gonna be explosive. You know, I think he's gonna have some big plays. But yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out. But like I said, if I could get him for 2 to 3 years and make him happy, I'll do it. But you know, anything over that, I don't think I would do it, because he is an injury-prone running back at the end of the day, and he is a running back. And you know that unfortunately for running backs, the league is pivoting the way it's been pivoting that way. And you know, and I said it on the show a few times. It's kind of like I'm kind of a little worried too, because I also don't know how Shane if Shane can really evaluate the running back position, because he comes from a team that never, you know, had a, you know, always fucked up the running back position. You know, Zach Moss and Singletary. They had Lynch and they traded him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they weren't really, you know, known. Well, at least let's keep it to his regime where he was under. They sucked at drafting running back. So I am a little worried about that.
I'm also curious. Like I think that's gotten out of hand a little bit. The running back thing. Like I think that they're trying to control that market, because I don't know. I just feel like that type of running back isn't the running back that people use as the example of not paying running backs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, think about all the big money running backs. Like, they're all good. Like, I mean, I know the, you know, let's say Todd Gurley. Obviously, that was a shitty one, but that was a degenerative knee injury. But for the most part, it's like Alvin Kamara makes a lot of money. He's, you know, he's a stud when he plays. I mean, they try to phase him out a little bit last year because they've always had the 1-2 punch. Last year, I forget who their other running back was, but the year before that, in a couple of years, was
it Ingram or was it Latavius Murray? It's always one of those two.
Yeah. It was actually it was both at one point too.
Yeah.
And last year I forget who they brought in, but you know, like with McCaffrey as well. You know, even the guy that the Lions drafted, Jahmyr Gibbs, like technically he's a running back, but what they've said coming out of like training camp or whatever, the involuntary mini camps, is like that he's running routes. That's what he's doing. But when it's time to pay him, obviously they're going to call him a running back as well. But I don't know. I just don't think that's not the running back that they're talking about when they try to devalue the position. I think, that's a weapon. That's not a running back. So I don't know if like it's kind of a dick move like what they're doing, because obviously it's conveniently a running back or whatever. The same thing that happened with Le'Veon Bell back then, which didn't work out for him either. But my point is just like, I don't think they gotta stop. It's a running back. Yeah, he's a running back, but then by that definition, then fucking Daniel Jones is a running back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what bothers me about that whole thing? Because I get it, I get it, but the only thing is like, they want to use Pacheco as the main thing, right? Like they want to use Pacheco as the main example, and Miles Sanders, but the Eagles have a fucking super O-line. Not every team has a super O-line. You know what I'm saying? Not every team has the best quarterback in the fucking league. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they I get it, but they're trying to push it a little too hard. Like, running backs are a dime a dozen, and I don't think that's the case really. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, can you take Pacheco out of that team and put him in a run heavy team, and he's gonna be that effective? Probably, I don't think so. I mean, I think he'll burst off a few, but you're gonna need a 2-3 running back set. With a Pacheco. Like, I don't see him, taking on the load like by himself, and making it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I think the point that's one of the ones that they're able to use, because if you think about it, the Chiefs did spend a first round pick on a running back, and then it didn't work out for them, and then they get one in the 7th round, and it did. So it's like, oh, look at the Chiefs. They just won the Super Bowl. They drafted their running back in the 7th round. When they had their first round running back, it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So they could point to that, but they don't point to all the other examples of all the shitty running backs that come into the league from round 3 to round 7 that stink. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Well, like, for example, last year, what happened? Everybody, all the quarterbacks were gone by the 3rd round. Why? Because they thought that everybody was getting Brock Purdy, because you can find a Brock Purdy. So I just think people, like, teams are just like, they see somebody else do something smart, and then they all think that they're just as smart, but they're not. Like, historically, good players. You can find good players, Hall of Famers, in any stage of the draft, at any position, but historically, you pretty much know who the studs are from jump.
Yeah. And also, is the league is transforming to a pass, right? Pass heavy, everything's pass. But not every team. Look, the Bears, the Giants, the Ravens, those are run heavy. You're not just gonna get a plug and play running back in the 7th round. For a short shot that you're gonna put in there to complement a Fields and a Lamar, Daniel Jones. I'm missing a few others there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just gonna find that guy like that. Like they're making it seem. Like, if you're a run heavy team, you're gonna need a solid running back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe great.
The good teams are going to zig when everybody's thinking that they're going to zag. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, so this team is going to, flood the field with DBs. Oh, okay, so let's go straight up the middle and let's Derrick Henry your 3rd corner that you got on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like everybody, you do one thing and then they overcorrect and then they overcorrect that. It's like, the game is the game. Like, figure out what you're good at. You're not the Chiefs. You don't have Mahomes. So don't try to. So stop putting 4 wide receivers on the field if your quarterback can't get them to none of them anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's like, figure out what you do good and stop trying to be another team, because every team is, all the good teams plan and game plan around the talent that they have, and that they're able to focus on having, like, explosive plays and all that. Everybody else is just trying to catch up and think, oh, Andy Reid is doing this. Let's do this too. It's like, nah, man, you're not Andy Reid. You can't do that. Figure out something that you can be good at and pick your own lane because everybody's expecting.
Nope, I agree. Nope, Saquon.
So we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the other local football teams and some contractual situations that have developed there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, is that a real commercial break? So, are you going to put like a commercial?
And we're back. Change the screen a little bit.
Okay.
So, in other New York football news, and in other celebratory flex news, there's been an agreement for the probably the elephant in the room contractual situation with the Jets. They finally signed Quinnen Williams. What were the terms of that deal? $96 million, I think it was.
66
Although with the
guaranteed.
NFL, I never know what any of those numbers mean. What's guaranteed? How many years? When can they get out of it? Is there an option?
Man,
I mean, who knows?
The cap, learning what any of that stuff means, like, you have to be a capologist to even figure out like basic fucking contract structures. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't even know. I don't know if the actual the full details are out, but.
All right, so as far as the details that I'm seeing thus far, New York Jets have locked up all-pro defensive tackle Quinnen Williams with a 4-year, $96 million contract extension that includes $66 million guaranteed. The largest guarantee in franchise history. And he is now signed through the 2027 season.
That's a lot.
And this extension makes Williams the NFL's second highest paid defensive tackle based on average annual value. At $24 million per season, he surpasses Tennessee Titans' Jeffrey Simmons for the number 2 spot, and he will stay behind, of course, the Los Angeles Rams' Aaron Donald at $31.7 million. Williams' $66 million guaranteed surpasses Donald, however, for the most guaranteed money in a defensive tackle's contract.
Yeah, but that's like 2 Aaron Donald years.
What's 2 Aaron Donald years?
I'm saying like his guarantee is 2 Aaron Donald years, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he already pocketed all that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I still don't know what is going on with Aaron Donald. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what the Rams look like this year and what. It's a very
you don't know what's going on there, because it seems like if you're paying Aaron Donald $31 million, I feel like you should have a lot more going on than what you currently do.
Yeah.
Well, you know
so are you satisfied? I mean, with what you know of the Quinnen Williams deal, are you satisfied with what Joe Douglas was able to get done there?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be closer to. I thought the holdup was him wanting closer to Aaron Donald money, and apparently it was that he wanted 4 years instead of 5 years, which, you know, like. If you think about it, you think like it doesn't really make sense, but in his mind, obviously, it's because he wants to hit the open market again before.
Yeah, he wants that second bite at the apple.
Yeah, which I'm fine with, because if that meant that he lowered his number a bit, and so that he got the 4 years that he wanted, he probably had to give back a little bit on the other side in terms of bargaining or whatever. I think it's good. I mean, the other thing is, like, they shouldn't have waited this long. They shouldn't have waited till Jeffrey Simmons signed, because clearly, like, that must have been one of the, you know, the benchmarks they had to clear, where it had to be a little bit more than him. But I mean, I thought it was going to be more. Like, I looked at it and I was doing the numbers in my head and I was like, wait, this is less than 25. You know, the number that they were throwing out was like 27, like a rumored number or whatever, or at least one of the rumored numbers. So I don't know. I feel like it's under 25 million. I feel like it's a good. And if he wanted the shorter deal because he wants to get his money again before he's 30, then you know that he's not taking a break. He's going all out. Like if he thought that maybe, like, like, I don't know if he wasn't that hungry about the game, I feel like then he might have taken that 5, because he's not in it. You know, he's not thinking about his next contract. This guy's already thinking about his next contract. So he's still hungry, and he's still young. He came into the league when he was either 20 or just turned 21. I mean, so I'm good with it.
Well, you know who you have to thank for really pushing this deal over the edge and getting it done?
Oh, yeah.
The executives at HBO. Because Joe Douglas did not want to be at a diner like Tannenbaum the last time the Jets were on Hard Knocks dealing with Darrelle Revis. He didn't want to have that situation on his hands. So as soon as they said, y'all are doing Hard Knocks, he said, all right, man, let's get this deal done. I don't want this to be on TV.
Which is, that
Mark,
works for me. If that's a side benefit of all of this, then more power to the top shotters at HBO and the NFL, because, you know, just in general, you don't want this, like, even in, like, they weren't really talking about it because, you know, obviously there's a lot of contrived arguments NFL based in this time of the year because there's nothing going on. But one of the things that they were mentioning a lot before all of this was the Quinnen Williams stuff. And when you got all this hype going on, the last thing you want to think is like, the reason Quinnen didn't get paid is because they had to bring all Aaron Rodgers' buddies and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like all that talk. It turns into nonsense. It's all nonsense now because it's, it's not a thing anymore. So you kind of kill two birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? So more power.
Yo, didn't Salah say that he didn't want none of like I remember, like, wasn't it like last year or not even too long ago, maybe during draft,
that he didn't want Quinnen Williams?
No, that he didn't want this Hard Knock shit.
Well, several people within the Jets have said that they don't want it. Salah said it. I think Woody even alluded to not wanting to do it. There have been a couple of players that have said that they don't want to, that they are not interested in doing Hard Knocks. They've been pretty clear
even
about
I was
not
like,
wanting to do it. Huh?
Even I was like, damn, I don't think they should do it.
Why? Why do you care?
Nah, for the Jets' success. I thought, I'm like, I know, like, a lot of, like, I was listening to the radio, they're saying that, that doesn't really affect you, but I don't know. Like, you already got attention on you, like, HBO coming through
so you
and doing
want to
Hard
protect
Knocks.
the Jets? You're trying to protect them.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it me, or do you guys feel, you don't feel the same way? Like that could be a distraction in some way.
I mean, yes, just in general, yes, just because, if
more eyes, more attention, more.
On one hand, like maybe it's good because the Jets have had a lot of negative stuff, and if one of the things, it's like there's a lot of likable players on the team. You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe it's good, garnering goodwill within, like, beside, and like he said, like, nobody watches the non-Jets fans don't watch the Jets version of Hard Knocks anyway. Mm-hmm. So maybe maybe some of these players become likable to some of the people who are casual fans or don't really like the Jets or whatever. That's one thing on one hand, and like I don't know, like. And I don't like. It's never a good thing when you do stuff. Like if somebody doesn't want to do something, it's never a good thing to try to make them do it. Yeah. But also on the other hand, it's like the last time the Jets were on it, they went to the AFC Championship game. So it's like.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like you can make an argument for any side that you want to be dug into.
You know what I didn't hear a lot of people mention. And like I kept saying to myself while people were like calling in and shit, I feel like it puts a target on them, right? Because all them players are watching. You know what I'm saying? All the players.
There's already a target on them, man.
Yeah, but they. I can see like an occasional team be like, this is especially early, like, this is that. Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
It was. You saved it though.
There's a thunderstorm.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
There's a thunderstorm happening.
But I don't know. I feel like. Go ahead. Finish. I thought you finished.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I feel like, especially early, like, a team could not take them serious. But watch, now that they're on Hard Knocks, it's like everybody's watching. It gives them more hype. More players are gonna want to, like, what I'm saying, like they have almost like like they seen them, they got all that hype on them, like I want to prove them wrong, like, what I'm saying, like I'm better than this guy, what I'm saying, like let's show them that we're better than what nationwide.
I know what you're saying, but that's almost like billboard material. Like at the end of the day, whoever wins gets to flex whatever they say. So it's like, just like, when you make a boxer mad, like, is it going to work and he's going to be more focused and beat you because of that? Or is he going to try to smash your face in and open himself up to a left hook because he's trying to do something that his feelings are caught in, as opposed to what his normal game plan is? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it could work either ways. I feel like the Jets already have a target on their back because, Bobby knows, man. He's all the strays that Sauce Gardner's taken for no reason. Like,
I heard about that. We got to get into that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, my man, he's not even in everybody's face like that. He's just good. Like, what is he's not supposed to be that good because, like, Like you don't paying respects by being less good. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna get a water real quick. Is that all right?
Okay, should we take another break?
Nah, I'm just gonna grab. There's a water outside my door.
Sponsored by Evian Water.
Agua. Tap water.
By Florida. Good old Florida tap water.
Gator water. That's hard.
Gator piss. And just put like somebody, it's not like a half reptile, half like bodybuilder, like that on the bottle.
Gator arms.
Filled with electro.
I mean,
yeah,
gator with human arms.
Yeah, gator with human arms. Make it slightly yellow. You know what I'm saying? Put electrolytes.
I think that's
in
what
it.
Gatorade originally basically was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like named for Florida Gators. But I think that they were kind of juggling between, should we do Gatorade, Gator Piss? What do you think? They were sitting in an office in a board meeting.
And plus,
like,
it was
Gator Piss.
Because
It
if
has
it was
a ring
yellow,
to it, though.
Yeah, but I think the original flavor was lemon lime, so that was probably why they went in the other direction.
Yeah, they didn't want people to actually think it was actual piss.
Yes, exactly.
Or to start, milking gators out there. So my only question to you about what you're saying about Hard Knocks and about worrying about the Jets or trying to protect the Jets from Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. You just said you're mad excited to see it now.
I am very excited.
So why are you saying that it's not a good idea, or you wish they didn't do it? I don't understand where you stand on this.
I'm a fan, so I'm a fan.
You're
of
a fan
NFL,
of what?
So
Football, no?
The NFL, yeah, the
Okay.
NFL. So you want to see
who would you
it?
like to have seen on Hard Knocks, if not the Jets?
Nah, that's the thing. You like the Jets are the perfect story right now for it. It's just like if you look at it as just you want the success for the Jets, you kind of like you rather go fly. No pun intended.
See what I feel like. I feel like right now you're trying to play a trick. You're trying to do the Giants' little brothering the Jets.
Nah,
you're not a Jets fan. You're not a Jets fan. You're excited to see the Jets,
like the Jets
on Hard Knocks.
Because it could potentially throw a wrench in the whole season.
And you're putting on this whole front.
I
don't want it to be a distraction.
If you don't think
why are you disrespecting the Jets?
If you don't think I want to see the Jets,
you don't think that the Jets. You think what's the difference? Okay, Jets finishing regular season record, not on Hard Knocks versus on Hard Knocks. What do you got?
I just feel like.
You just feel like little brothering the Jets. I'm on to you, bro. I'm on to you. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, look at that face.
Please tell me that he's frozen like that. No.
No, I was fucking around. Yo,
That was excellent.
Oh wow. Oh man.
I realized it was a sign came on my thing said internet connection low.
Speaking of that,
as I hear thunder,
not speaking about Hard Knocks, but that just made me think because when we were talking about what day it comes on, and you said that it's coming on Tuesdays. First of all, have they announced a in-season Hard Knocks this year, or are they gonna skip that?
There's no way in hell they're doing that shit. Are they?
I don't know. They did it the last 2 years.
Yeah, man.
Because that one's from what? Amazon from Prime? Is it Amazon Prime or is it also?
No, same thing. Hard Knocks is an HBO product.
No, but there was one from another.
They did no. Amazon did All In with the Eagles, and I think they did another
really?
team.
No, I just thought that when you said in-season Hard Knocks, you were just using the term Hard Knocks because it's basically the same thing as opposed to.
Yeah, no. I'm specifically.
No, they did it in season.
I'm talking Arizona, about the in-season Hard Knocks, like the way that they did it last year for the Cardinals. And honestly, nobody watched it. Nobody. But it was interesting. It was interesting. I mean, I find all of that stuff interesting. So maybe I'm a bad example, but it was first of all, it was interesting to see that kind of, I say access, but a lot of it is manufactured access. It's not even real access, but whatever access they give them, to see that and to compare, having watched Hard Knocks for years, and I've watched Hard Knocks so long that you know what to expect. If you've watched Hard Knocks a bunch of times, it's not really anything new. You know what to expect. Like the NFL, in terms of like the whole training camp process, it's pretty cookie cutter. Like we know what it's gonna be. We know it's gonna be preseason games, there's mini camps, there's cuts, and all that stuff, right? It's just about what personalities on the team they follow. That's kind of what makes it interesting. But to see that it was completely different, obviously, since it's in season. It wasn't preseason games. There wasn't any cuts. So everybody who's on the team is already on the team. So it was interesting to see it from a different perspective in that respect. So I enjoyed it, and I don't know if they'll do it again this year, but I was just
I definitely thought the idea was dope, but I don't remember. Did they announce that early, or did they announce it like did they announce it like before the season started, or did they?
It's funny. I don't even know that they've really. However they announced it, they didn't really announce it. I feel like they kind of took for granted that people were just gonna jump in and be excited for it the way that they're excited for Hard Knocks. But people are excited for Hard Knocks because it's the timing of it. It's like everybody's getting hyped up for football season. It's like the perfect appetizer for the NFL kickoff. Once the NFL season starts, for the most part, people are not looking.
There's enough.
They're following all the I think people are. The general casual fan, or even the more than casual NFL fan, is happy to follow another team in depth during the offseason or during the preseason. But once the season starts, if you're a fan of a team, like if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Jets fan, if you're a Cowboys fan, what the hell do you care about what the hell the Cardinals have going on, in the middle of the season? It's just different, you know what I mean? I think that they overestimated how they're going to just, it's going to be NFL football and we could just throw it out there and everybody's going to jump and watch it. Yeah. I just feel like in season, it just didn't get the same kind of response. And also, speaking of announcements, I don't think they ever really made a proper launch or made a proper announcement, and they never really generated any conversation around it, because it's like, that's the other thing, is that like during camps and during the preseason, you have people on ESPN, Fox Sports, etc., podcasts. They're also watching Hard Knocks and then talking about it, which keeps the conversation and the buzz going. Whereas in season, people are talking about the games. People are not breaking, there's way more going on. People are not going to be sitting there, the ESPN's not going to break down, they're not going to do 20 minutes breaking down what happened on Hard Knocks when there's, a whole slate of games to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, especially because, the people on Monday, people are talking about the Sunday games. On Tuesday, they're talking about the Monday game. Yeah, they've got the
schedule mastered.
By Wednesday, Wednesday, maybe Wednesday is the easy day. But just by Thursday, they're already doing the lead up to the Thursday game.
But that's the thing, is that there's really no room for it, because Wednesday would be the only real day to have the conversation, like to kind of dominate the conversation about it. So it would have to air on Tuesdays. Like that would be the only day, and everybody would have to watch it. You know what I mean? To have the conversation about it. Because after 24 hours, the conversation it changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it also got me thinking: does Inside the NFL still exist? Is it on Showtime now?
I think it's on Paramount.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the one that they
Is
used
it
to
on
be
Paramount?
with it used to be with Chris right?
Sims.
Yeah, and
Collinsworth.
what's the other one? Collinsworth and yeah.
That's the thing, is that it used to be.
They switched it up now. They switched it up with like Julian Edelman now.
I haven't watched it since it left HBO. It was on HBO for many, many years, and that was when it was
good.
I thought it was great, and it was like it was the one show that had all of the NFL films footage, and they would do a good midweek recap of all the games, and you would get to see a lot of the behind the scenes, the mic'd up, all the the different NFL films, camera shots of the stuff that you saw the previous Sunday and Monday. And they always had good analysts to talk about it. But then it left HBO and it went to Showtime, and I kind of lost touch with it because I didn't have Showtime at the time. And I just remember I haven't thought about it in a minute, but Inside the NFL used to be a real good show. Like, I used to really enjoy that, and now I don't know where it's at. Now that you mentioned Paramount Plus, I actually have Paramount Plus, and I feel like I remember seeing or hearing that it is on Paramount Plus, but just thinking about it kind of makes me sad that Inside the NFL used to be just as strong of a brand as as Hard Knocks for HBO and for their their HBO Sports football coverage, and HBO Sports has just let themselves go, let everything go. They're not there's nothing relevant going on with real sports anymore. There's no more HBO boxing. There's no more Inside the NFL, and Hard Knocks, they can barely get anybody to even do it, and barely, I feel like they're trying to do the end season, but they're not promoting it right. What's going on, man? What's going on with HBO Sports?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, also think about like even now, like they did all those cuts with the merger with
Discovery.
What was the merger? Discovery merger. It's like it's only going to go down. It's only going to go downhill if that all began before this the cost cutting merger or whatever. It's only going to they're only going to have less of an interest. Like this, obviously with Hard Knocks is a little bit different, only because it's such a legacy show. It's been around forever, and it covers the the king sport in America. So, and it and it's not like it's a 6 weeks a 6-week show, so it's not it's not like a big it's a big production, but it's not like a prolonged production. So it's like I doubt they would that would have been one of the things that they cut out of, like even like with real sports. That was another thing that was like I used to watch that like Sunday nights or was it Sunday or Monday nights, and it was just like, yo, you got the real deal, like sports conversations, like,
and they would make sports that I didn't even really know about or care about. They would make me care about them, and they would make me interested in them. They would find some story with a sport that I'm like not even really vibing with, and they would make it interesting, and they always did a really good job. So it's just a shame that they don't have their flagship kind of highlight show anymore with Inside the NFL, and it seems like they're barely keeping a pulse on Hard Knocks nowadays, which is crazy because it's like people obviously still care very much about football in general as a sport, and Hard Knocks is not a bad product. I just don't know why they can't seem to. I don't know why teams don't want to do it. I mean, I understand this whole idea of it being a distraction, etc. But first of all, if they adhere to the the agreement, the rules, which is the team, I forget what it is that they have, that they didn't make the postseason in the last 2 years, and they have all these kind of like these parameters for who is eligible to be on Hard Knocks, and like I actually think that's great because it's like, yo, you should have done better. You know what I mean? Like that, if that should be an incentive right there. If you don't want to be on Hard Knocks so bad, have a better season. Make the fucking playoffs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't make the playoffs, then you don't have a leg to stand on.
When did they do the Rams one? They did that 2 teams at once.
COVID.
That was what?
2019, 20. I think 2020 because it was the COVID year.
Yeah. What was that? Rams and
Chargers.
Okay, yeah.
That was. I remember Anthony Lynn did the big opening speech for the first episode, and he did it through Zoom, and it was the most underwhelming opening speech to Hard Knocks that I ever seen. Because I feel like they always have the first episode of Hard Knocks when they're in camp. There's always like I feel like almost every season they go with like they have the team gathered up, and whoever the coach is of the team that's on Hard Knocks has a team, and he offers some of the first words of encouragement or inspiration to get through camp or whatever, and then you hear the music drops and they start doing the intro video.
Yeah.
And it was
Fucking
like,
love
I
that.
think the year before the one that you're talking about when they did the two teams, I believe the year before that, if not the year before that, maybe 2 years before that, was Gruden with the Raiders. And the Gruden Raiders one was great.
Was it?
Yeah, like he did. That was when he did that speech where he's like, I'm not into having dreams, I'm into having nightmares, or whatever the fuck it was. Like, it was ill. It was hard. He was like, I don't want to hear about your dreams. I don't even want to try to paraphrase it because I can't do it right. Like, you could probably find it on YouTube. I'll probably clip this up and insert it right here. But
definitely do that.
But that, like, say what you want about where Gruden has ended up now. At the time, that shit was hard. Like, Gruden, and it was also hard because they blended that opening sequence, the opening titles. They blended it with that old school. Speaking of NFL films and Inside the NFL, that old school John Facenda Raiders song, that old school NFL, the NFL films music joint. Yeah. And it was fire. I thought it was great. And I just feel like a team like that's actually a perfect example. A team like the Raiders, who have kind of I don't know if I want to say they've been bad. They just haven't really been. They haven't really been exciting. Even when they've been, even when they've made the playoffs, they haven't really been exciting in any type of real way. They tried to get exciting by trying to get Antonio Brown. That obviously didn't work out. They tried to get exciting by having Devontae Adams and this coach, and it's nothing exciting going on there. A team like that could only benefit from being on Hard Knocks. First of all, they're not going anywhere, so forget about the distraction. Who gives a shit? Like, I think that the Lions really benefited last year from being on Hard Knocks. People got excited about the Lions coming into the season. People got excited about their coach and that whole grit thing. They were able to sell that. And look, listen, nine times out of 10, the team that's on Hard Knocks, everybody gets all hyped for them because HBO presents them in a good light, and then they end up, whether they flame out or whether they do well, it really doesn't end up having nothing to do with Hard Knocks. All it is a good marketing and good sales for the team. That's why I don't understand why they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, because I think this year was just. I mean, there was.
I think it was specific to the eligible teams didn't want it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. There was. Like the whatever like the parameters were for the qualifications, that got cut down significantly. So there wasn't a lot to choose from, and like obviously the Washington would have been fascinating to watch, but they got a lot going on, and they probably.
But that's the problem is that they made it more complicated when they added the other playoff team, because you've added one more playoff team in each conference that could have been eligible for Hard Knocks that now isn't, because pure example, the Commanders made the playoffs 2 years ago, so they're not eligible for Hard Knocks. When they suck, they should be eligible for Hard Knocks. Why not? Same thing with the Browns. The Browns should be eligible for Hard Knocks, but they had that little Baker Mayfield run. They made the playoffs, so they're not eligible for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, and I mean, like for example, if you got, let's say, if the Dolphins didn't sneak into the playoffs, that last spot, can you imagine like Tariq Hill?
Exactly. There's a lot of interesting teams that could have and probably should have been eligible for Hard Knocks that aren't. Like, and pure example, even the Raiders. The Raiders made the playoffs 2 years ago. They suck. They should be eligible for Hard Knocks. Why not? You know what I mean? The Raiders, the Browns, the Commanders.
Well, the Commanders were eligible this year. They were one of the final candidates, I heard.
Yeah, the because they last made the playoffs 3 years ago, right?
Well, the Tom Brady year. The Tom
Tom Brady was
Brady.
on the
Yeah,
Commanders.
that
Wow,
was 2
thanks.
years.
No, that was
No,
the
when
one
they
was the
lost to
Heineke.
Tom Brady. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, Heineke had
But
a
I
hell
thought
of a
that
game.
was 2 years ago. But I guess it was 3 years ago.
I think
Yeah,
wasn't it
because
2
the
years?
Chiefs have won. The Chiefs and the Rams have won since Tom Brady.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's the year Brady won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was that was like the toughest competition that they faced.
So that was
Throughout
COVID.
That was the
playoffs.
year that the Bucks beat the Chiefs, or the Chiefs beat. Yeah, the Bucks beat the Chiefs. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
The Bucks
So
beat
just-
the Commanders en route to beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's the same year that we just spoke about with the Rams and Chargers. No, I think so.
Yes,
I think
that
so.
they were on Hard Knocks that year.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was the COVID year. Because because the Bucks had the Super Bowl at home.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what that
How
was
crazy
the, that
is
was
that,
the
then?
year that
Two
That were-
two home
were they-
field advantage Super Bowls back-to-back years after it never happening.
so
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. So that 2020 year was that Hard Knocks, like when they were like nomads basically, because
They were COVID testing every fucking
Yeah,
second.
it was actually. I mean, it was interesting. It wasn't nearly as entertaining as the usual Hard Knocks, at least
there's
from my
probably
perspective.
there was probably a lot of like defense being played against them.
Well,
'Cause,
no,
you
what
know,
I'm gonna say,
California-
I just feel like it's not even. I mean, I feel like there was defense being played against them just based off of the circumstances, and like,
Yeah, that's what
and
I
I
mean.
also feel like that I'm sure that the producers at HBO made the decision that there's so much unique shit going on here with all of the testing protocols and all that. They spent a lot of time allocating, the content to what, to showing everybody what all the players and all the staff is going through to make it through COVID, which, like I said, it was interesting. I found it to be very interesting, but it wasn't the same type of entertainment as these characters that you get on Hard
Well,
Knocks.
I mean, you think about it. They couldn't, they couldn't do much. I mean, California was one of the, the heavily regulated COVID areas. So
Yeah, no, but
they
did
had
you
a lot
watch
of
it?
protocols. No. But what I'm saying is, like, whatever you said, all the stuff that you said. Also, on top of that, I'm sure that some of it played into, like, maybe they didn't want to put a team on that's in a place that's pretending like nothing, like nothing big is going on, and kind of put that out, especially, how the way that HBO conducts business isn't like the crass style. So they probably, some of it was probably also to, like, in terms of like responsibility, to like show people like, oh, these teams are, they're
Look how
in
serious
here.
they're
This is
taking
how
this.
this is how serious everything is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Unlike your quarterback, taking it serious. Speaking of that, who do we think is going to be the breakout star of Hard Knocks? Because there's always one.
Breakout. When you say
think
breakout, I
there's-
mean somebody that you don't expect, right? Or is just
Just
can it
give
be
me a star.
Rodgers?
We don't have to overthink the breakout
okay.
portion of it. Who do you think is going to be the star of Hard Knocks?
I let the Jet fan go. He knows the roster better than I do.
I think the guy who's obviously going to gravitate towards all of that is going to be Michael Carter, the running back. He's he's entertaining in general. Like he has a lot of personality. So does CJ Ozama and Conklin. But I think one of the under the radar star is going to be Michael Clemens. That dude, he's like hilariously scary. He's like that type of dude, and I see them playing up that like this dude is like super serious and super intimidating, but he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
we have
just-
Michael Clemens. One vote for Michael Clemens.
I'll say just because the hype, I'll just say Gardner Sauce. Because he's already like, everybody's already talking about him, and now he's actually gonna have character to it and more insight to it. So I could see him exploding.
Yeah, I feel like
I agree, but I feel like he's more lunch pail than people give him credit for.
He's perfect for this generation. The guy that you want is Sauce. He's like.
Yeah, I think that the HBO producers are gonna find ways to give him his
intro
time.
is gonna be his slow-mo intro is gonna be crazy. Fucking super dope. Probably chains flossing and everything.
Yeah, and I think that between that and he has his own Twitch thing that he's doing content. I'm sure that they'll depict that as well. I feel like he will probably be the one that comes away with the most, as the star of it, with the most, with the most camera time probably. I mean, I think it's funny because I don't know what to expect from Rodgers. Obviously they always do a dive, obviously on the quarterback, but I don't know how interesting he is. Like, I don't know how, maybe not that I don't know how interesting he is. I don't know how interesting he'll be for them, for the cameras. I feel like if they're following Rodgers around, he will, he'll put on a show, but he'll put on an NFL quarterback show. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be really stepping too far out of the lane. I could be totally wrong, but I just don't see him like, getting wet and wild and crazy and really giving them something that's just going to be like, it's going to make headlines, the next day.
Especially when when he knows that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He's the type of dude that's like,
if he does make headlines, it's because he
this?
wanted to. It's not going to be some slip-up mistake.
He'll flirt with the line.
We got a suggestion in the chat also from a viewer who suggests that Will McDonald is going to be a star on.
Can you block that guy?
I'm curious if I'm curious. I'm sure that they will, in some type of way, ask him about or bring up this whole psychedelic situation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's gonna flirt. He's gonna stay within the box, but he's gonna flirt with the line. Go ahead.
You think so? Because it's funny that you say that because I'm curious about how much he'll play into it, if he'll downplay it, if he'll really get into it and talk about it a ton. And also,
he might not even get into it.
That's the thing. I don't feel like he's going to want to really make too much noise like that. And at the end of the day, I think that HBO knows that the Jets are going to have a certain amount of say in what makes it and what doesn't. And I feel like if they go into it trying to make it out that, he's Pablo Escobar, it's never going to make the screen anyway. So I don't feel like I don't think they're stupid enough to waste their time with that.
Also, that would be dope if they should have done like they don't own Vice anymore, but that'd be dope if they did like for more on the Rodgers go to Vice and like
they did with Rex, like the unedited Rex version, like is like the psychedelic version of
exactly
Aaron Rodgers. Fucking tripping on shrooms, throwing fucking.
They got Grateful Dead bears going in the like doing conga line in the background.
Yo, that would be fire. Could you imagine?
That would be fire.
That would be amazing if they just had like a Hard Knocks, Vice edition.
That would be fucking fire.
All right, so we're gonna take another break, and when we come back, there'll be more shenanigans. And we might get away from sports for a little bit.
Maybe.
are back, and we're gonna close out the show with a little Victor Wembanyama review, and we got some bullets. We got bullets from Word Life coming.
We got some bullets, and I want to, and we still gonna play the problem child, right?
Yeah.
Right,
So Victor Wembanyama, I watched. I think both. I actually think I watched both games, because it was against Portland and what was the other game against? No, I don't even.
I didn't watch it.
Charlotte,
I just saw the
maybe.
highlights.
I think it was against Charlotte. Portland,
I just saw the
Charlotte.
good one highlights, and then I saw a little bit of the bad one.
I saw Brandon Miller yesterday. He looked pretty good. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been enjoying watching Summer League. I know I'm a loser for that, but I've been enjoying it.
I tried. I couldn't.
I've been enjoying it because, like, it's like an N1 mixtape, man. It's like street ball. Like, you got these dudes out there, like you could tell that they're trying to make a roster. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of dudes out there that they're not out there. It does not have the look and feel of a regular NBA regular season game. Like, somebody could get killed out there.
Well, a lot, I see a lot of people watching.
Niggas, you taking the burnout?
No, but they're serious. Like, yo, I was surprised. I think that's why they shoved Victor Wembanyama down, and that's why I was saying that this motherfucker needs to get up off his knees and off of his chest. Like, there's no reason your nipples should be touching the court that many times. You should not be on your chest and on your back like that. Like, stay on your feet. But I think that what they realize is that they got this dude, this, slender dude, who they're trying to develop him into an NBA player, going up against, some dude that knows he don't belong on an NBA roster, but he's desperately trying to get this check, and he's gonna break this dude's femur if he needs to make to be the 15th man on the Pelicans.
He's probably selling weed out his backpack.
Yo, for real. And if Victor Wembanyama's wrists, ankles, and kneecaps have to be a casualty en route to doing so, then au revoir.
You ever seen the you remember I think it was in the 2000s, the drug the drug this is your brain and drugs
hell yeah,
thing.
of course.
But then there was
two
this
versions
one
of it.
There was this one with a girl, and and she was like, "We used to be friends," and then her girl's like fucking flat in the sofa.
Yeah.
That shit was hard, yo.
That's how that motherfucker looks
that
like.
Shit, that shit's a scene right there. That's just a scene right there, and that just reminds me that that's where they got the idea from. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood when they stomped them out.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's probably where they got the idea from.
And that's where they got the idea of flattening Newman in Space Jam and then inflating him with the air pump.
With the air pump.
But yo, you saw Victor Wembanyama came out and said that the NBA is soft.
Did he say that?
He didn't say that, but what he did say was. He did say, let me pull up the quote. I interpreted it as the NBA is soft, but I will give you his exact words. You can't say that when
all your limbs look like baguettes. Like, you can't. You can't be saying that.
Yo, baguette.
That shit would be dope though if he had
baguettes.
Long ass breads.
Okay, so Victor Wembanyama was commenting on the level of physicality in the NBA and comparing it to playing in Europe and in the French league, etc. And his quote was that the NBA is, quote, less physical than European basketball. He said, the court is more open, it's going fast, but it's less physical. I get fouled a lot, but not as much. Here, players are just flying around out there. It's more on the ground, pushing on the ground, big box outs. Here, it's great athletes, the best in the world, way more talent, but I like this better.
Does he
So
realize that
I guess
that summer league?
the NBA game is more above the rim, and the European game is more ground and pound. That's
Well,
He hasn't even played in the
makes.
NBA yet.
That's
That's
what I'm
the other
saying.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
does he realize this is summer league?
What an
Like
idiot.
he's playing people whose bodies are underdeveloped because they're the same age. Some are younger than you.
Yo, there was a
And-
dude that looked like he came out of the stands to play.
Hmm.
There was a dude that you remember that dude
Like the Bill Murray
that he
kind?
didn't get drafted, that he was the Gonzaga all-time leading scorer last. Or I know y'all don't follow college basketball.
What, Adam?
No, Adam
No, not
Morrison.
Morrison.
No, not Adam
No,
Morrison.
no. I know.
Drew,
He has
I think
that
Drew
stupid
Timmy
mustache.
is his name. Timmy,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is his last name. I can't remember if it's
Yeah,
Drew or
it
what.
is Drew Timmy.
But like you
It's a
look at
stupid
him,
mustache.
and he don't look like an NBA player. He looks like a college player. I thought I saw him roaming around on the court in the summer league. It wasn't him, but it might as well have been him. And I'm like, that's who Victor Wembanyama is making his assessment of what the NBA is after playing against a low budget Drew Timmy. But yeah, less physical is what he said. He said it's not. The NBA is not physical. He likes it better
We'll
that
see.
way.
Maybe.
I mean, for
less
him,
physical.
yeah, obviously.
Maybe he thought it was French and he was saying "les physical."
Late physical. What's that
Yeah.
mean?
Less physical, but
I'm
he
more-
thought it meant
More-
he thought it meant the physical
Yeah,
because he thought
Oh.
it was in French. And
I think that's what he was saying. I think he got so banged up. He's like, yo, I got to go get a physical after that game. I think that's what happened. But it was something lost in translation.
That's funny.
But I have been enjoying watching the summer league. I think it's been good to see some of the. The only thing that I don't like is that like play the rookies, play the top Wembanyama 2 games and Scoot Henderson. He looked good. He looked real good.
Really?
But he's not. I mean, he got hurt. I'm a little dubious on how hurt he really is. I feel like they just don't want to, have him banging around against these plumbers and carpenters for the for the whole summer and get his shoulder busted.
You mean Bob Cousy's competition? You mean the Celtics competition
Basically,
in the 50s?
yeah, exactly.
That's
But
funny.
I would like to see more of Scoot Henderson because he looked real good.
I don't know. That's gonna bite. I don't know, man. That Scoot, he just like when you got a name like that, Scoot Henderson. It's almost like Sauce Gardner. You got to be good. You know what I'm saying? And I think that one's gonna hurt. I mean, it might not hurt the Wembanyama because you can argue that no matter what, you had to pick Victor Wembanyama, but that Brandon Miller, that thing's
Yeah,
gonna
I think it's gonna hurt
scrutinized,
Charlotte.
man.
Yeah, Charlotte. I think Charlotte made a mistake. And I don't think that it's not because I don't think Brandon Miller is gonna be good, but I think there's something special about Scoot Henderson, and there's something special about Scoot in a way that could really benefit Charlotte. Like if we were talking about a team that was well organized and you're just looking for, you can trust that they're going to find the best fit from a basketball perspective and that, they're going to put it together, whatever, then that's one thing. But I don't, and honestly, Charlotte, Jordan he does not exactly have the best history of making the smartest and right pick. So
Yeah, so as soon as if he had anything to do with that and he mentioned Brandon Miller, then off the top, just because of his overall, granted, I guess he's on his way to being exonerated for all the controversy that he went through this
is he?
past year.
I didn't know
but
about that.
I don't know. Well, it just seems that way because it doesn't.
I think people
if anything,
are just letting,
Yeah, but let's say even that, just off of that, that this guy has questionable decision-making ability at best.
Yeah.
At best, his decision-making is questionable. I mean, that should be like it when it's a skill. When you have two skilled players, and you have to flip a coin to see which one is better, that's something that should weigh heavily on the equation. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Honestly, we all knew his decision making was questionable when he was asked who the GOAT was, and his decision was to tell us that it was Paul George.
Paul George.
He doubled.
That to me was more questionable decision making than bringing the gun to the club.
That's strike two. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, like even if you believe that, why would you say it?
Yeah, that's something that you gotta write you gotta write an article to explain that one away.
That's something you troll your boys with.
You can't answer an interview question like that. That response, if you're serious, that requires an in-depth explanation.
A thesis.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's
just
something.
Say your favorite you watched growing up. Say that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean he did kind of say that, but he needs some media coaching because he didn't.
Nobody cares about the other. That's what he said.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, he didn't get that one right, but
I hate that GOAT talk shit, man.
Why?
Because I just hate to think that people think that.
I hate it because you can't get an answer.
It's
impossible to get an answer.
I think there's only one goal, and that's it. I don't want to hear anything.
Oh, because you don't agree with it. Who do you think is the GOAT then?
Jordan. There's only one GOAT, man. That's it. I don't want to hear it. And I have the fucking Lakers hat on right now. Like,
I think this is like one of the situations where GOAT, the greatest and best needs to be separate.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, just because of everything that encompasses, like what he did, everything, the icon, the GOAT of the championship, the winning, the sneakers, what he did, like his whole aura, everything that he did for sports. There was nobody better in terms of like overall, like, you know, like when you say that when you say those words, that's who you think about. But you know what? Just like Brady's the GOAT in football, you know, maybe Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time. Maybe LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time, but they're not the greatest. So I think they need to be separate. You can't be both. You can't be both because GOAT includes aura, includes like championships is the number one thing on top, and it just has to be separate. But you know, but that's the thing. You have to have. You can't say you can't say that one is both, because even Magic Johnson might be a better overall basketball player than Michael Jordan, but he's not greater than him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't even say that.
We don't want the GOAT talk.
Okay.
You don't like the GOAT talk, you said, so I don't want to force upon you GOAT talk if you don't. I just want to say this though. I'll say this about LeBron. This is I haven't heard a lot of people say. That's the only reason why I say it. Okay.
You know how they say the most dominant of all time is Shaq?
Okay.
Like, can we put LeBron in that? Like, I'll be happy with putting him as the most dominant or under Shaq. Like, put him in that list. Like, the freak of nature that nobody can guard. You know what I'm saying? Because he's bigger than everybody, and you know he's
almost like
a athlete. Yeah, put him there. Put him there. Like, he's one of the most dominant ever. Like, I'll give him that. But to say, like, come on, man.
I got another remark in the chat that said it's almost like DK Metcalf saying that AB is the GOAT over Jerry Rice. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, AB might. Yeah.
Did DK Metcalf really say that? That is great.
Did he say that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great.
But see that it's a ridiculous statement on the surface, but if you break it down, like, you know, maybe it is hard it would be harder to guard somebody like AB in his prime. Not now, because the only thing he has to be worried about prison guards, not anybody guarding him. But you know, maybe it was more difficult to guard somebody like AB in his prime, as opposed to Jerry Rice. But you can't say that he's greater than he's not Jerry Rice is the GOAT just because he is the GOAT. You have to knock him off to be able to take that. You know,
but the difference is though. The difference is that LeBron has the most points scored by any player ever. So it's like
Yeah,
that's what
so it's
people are
best.
more focusing on. I just put him at dominant. You want to give him the most dominant player of all time?
Or best. Let's call it
Passing
best.
Shaq?
Let's call it best.
I don't want to say best because Jordan is to me is the best basketball player I ever saw.
But you can't say dominant because how many? I mean, you can say whatever you want, but I can't look at a guy that took so many L's in the finals as most dominant.
Yeah,
he got completely dominated by the Warriors.
But Shaq
and by the Spurs for the most part. I mean, he got the Spurs once, but he lost to them twice. He got the Warriors once, but he lost to them how many times? 4 times.
Think about this.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Jordan and LeBron would have had to face each other in a game. If they were playing against each other, that's who they would be guarding.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they would be guarding, right? Jordan to LeBron, LeBron to Jordan.
I don't think
how would Jordan
LeBron never guards the best player.
LeBron? Come on. Now you're being disrespectful.
He doesn't guard the best player.
What do you mean? Maybe not now. Maybe not in year 20.
Oh, you wild. Yo, he was the one guarding Jokic in crunch time in that series that they got swept.
This year? Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't
you're right.
I mean, he always guarded the best.
Did he really? No, I don't.
LeBron.
I think that's one of his knocks.
No, that's what you want to knock.
Yeah, you're making that up out of nowhere. Nobody's knocking. No one has ever or will ever, aside from you, knock LeBron's defense. I've never.
No, he plays.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Michael Jordan trying to guard Jokic?
Or LeBron? That would look weird.
Yeah,
LeBron would just.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't. No,
LeBron is a better.
That was Rodman. That was Rodman.
Just because he has a size advantage. Jordan could never dream of trying to think about guarding a player like Jokic.
That's
what I'm saying. It's like LeBron would be Dennis Rodman's man. You know what I'm saying? But but LeBron would be guarding Jordan.
Probably. Yeah.
Did he guarded Kobe?
Who?
LeBron?
When did they play? And what? I mean,
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to recollect.
You're just trying to.
I thought that was a fact that
LeBron
didn't guard the best player. I thought that was a well-known fact.
All right. Well, we'll do some more. We'll do some more research.
Not only is it not well known.
We'll revisit this fact. This fact
I
that
thought it was.
LeBron.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting information from questionable sources here. But speaking of information, you have some information for us. Do you not?
Yes, sir. I have a list. That's a bullet list.
Oh, we got bullets?
Oh, yeah, we got bullets.
Bullets are always exciting.
It's such a fitting beat for my list, too.
Is it? Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Because that generation.
And it has so many gunshots already baked into the bread.
Mm-hmm. And probably everybody that you're about to mention probably did some form of freestyle to this beat.
Okay, so
possibly.
So just so I can understand.
Yeah.
What are we getting right now?
Is
this a list in chronological order, 10 to 1? Is it just an assortment of players, or are they ranked?
It's 10 to 1, but it has nothing to do with sports.
Okay, right? What does it have to do?
So it has to do with music, rap music in particular.
Okay.
So when I was thinking about lists, I thought about a few sports things, but then I'm like, this is the perfect time to not do a sports list. Right? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do it. And so what I did is I went with 10 artists that I want to say maybe late 90s, early 2000s that I was listening to a lot, and I always expected them to be more than they ended up being, right? like having more success. I expected them to have more success.
Okay, so what era, what time frame are we talking? Can we put bookends on this era?
Yeah, but I do want to speculate that this is just my specific like.
All right,
guys that I listen to.
Okay, enough with the qualifiers. That's fine. We get
so,
it.
So I want to say like 2000s.
I'm serious. We're just having fun here.
This is
I just
like
want to
when
understand
the new,
what the
when
list
the,
is. It's a
when
list
the when the K-Slay mixtape dropped, the new one, and you saw his name on there. You know, he was probably the 7th to 10th track on the thing. You thought that one day eventually it would be number 2 or 3 on the mixtape, but he went down low.
Or just more success. But I would say it's, you know what, that's actually, you pinpointed very well. Flex is on it. It's more like a mixture of like K and Clue. Like you get K-Say's like best artists and, well, some of them or 2 or 3 of them, and mix them with some of Clue's main freestyle go-to guys. That makes sense?
Yes, but so
this is very niche to New York.
So let's just
New York.
Let's just start with.
It's safe to say there's only New York.
I'll reserve any questions or trying to understand for as we go along. But so
if you're gonna start with
give this list a name.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to start jumping in on the 10 because that's like the first 2 are like really, yeah. So the number 10 I got.
But wait. But what's the name of this list? Well, this is the list of the top 10. What?
The top 10 coulda rappers.
Top 10 coulda rappers. Okay. The top 10 coulda rappers. Number 10.
Yes. Number 10. We're gonna go with Blitz. Yes, Blitz. BLITZ. Now, Blitz is a very.
He's good on Dreamcast.
Yeah, he's great. He's great on Dreamcast. Now, but so Blitz was a artist that I the reason I put him on this list because he might not.
Oh no!
He's not put Blitz on this list
Blitz right now.
He might have. Yes.
Oh, that looked like Tom Brady when his O-line was trash.
All right, you're back. You're good.
So anyway, so Blitz. The reason why Blitz might not fit the other artists on here, but the reason why I put Blitz on here is because he came out of nowhere, like on one of the greatest rappers of all time, like albums, and he like consistently came, like I think it was like 2 or 3 years where he just popped up on a Nas song, and you're like, who is this fucking kid? And he, you know, and honestly, he 1 or 2 songs he got the better verse on the song, so it's like
better than Nas.
What?
No.
You know, who is this kid? Why is...
The thunderstorm is causing problems right now. The thunderstorm is giving us real serious issues right now.
That's terrible. Why would it happen now, though?
I don't know.
Somebody's trying to sabotage.
Your internet connection is unstable.
Back. I think all of the Jacksonville rappers are keeping very close ear right now. They're like, yo, we gotta stop this guy. We gotta
stop him. Got him.
What was the last thing I said, bro? Fucking thunderstorms over
there.
It's a fucking blizzard out there.
He was on songs. You say he did a track with Nas, and you said that he would outshine who he was on the tracks with.
Yeah, so he got the better verse on a few Nas songs. Anyway, that's 10. Blitz.
Okay, Blitz coming in at number 10.
Yeah, never heard of. I think I heard a mixtape of his once.
So he coulda, but didn't.
He had a lot of hype for me. Being a kid from Queensbridge, with the legacy Queensbridge has, and I never heard much after him. But Blitz is one of those guys. All right, number 9. I'm gonna go with the Latin marksman Nino Bless. Yes, Nino. Mm-hmm.
Oh, big fan of Nino Bless.
The reason why I put Nino on here is because of his mixtapes are fire. His fucking mixtapes are fire. Like his bar, he's, you know, those artists that
What year was this? What years are we talking?
This is a little later. I think Nino came around 05.
Okay, so the time frame we're working with is like mid 90s to mid 2000s.
Late 90s to mid 2000s.
So 95 to like
Nah, Nino showed up maybe a little later. That maybe 2010, maybe
so
a little later.
95 to 2015. The 20
All right,
year.
yeah,
I wouldn't
20
say
year
95,
span.
but I wouldn't say 95. I think that's
95 is too early.
98. I don't think anybody here is under 98.
Just for the purposes of bracketing this. So you really want to go specific? Okay, 98 to 2000.
Yeah, 98
is that better?
2000. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I would push
98 to
99.
2011.
15.
Good.
Anyway,
15, 16, just in case.
All right, cool. All right, so that's Nino Bless. If you haven't heard him, his mixtapes are fire. You can't even find his mixtapes anywhere because he was rapping all over industry beats, and they're nowhere to be found. But Nino, he's just that rapper that kills every fucking freestyle he's on. Lyrically, he's a beast. Number 8, I'm gonna go with the late great Far Rockaway's own Stack Bundles. I'm gonna go with
Stack
Bundles.
Bundles.
What up? He had hype. He was. Don't do this. Why is my shit freezing all of a sudden?
It's because you're stacking bundles.
Yeah, yes. Hold up. Yes. Stack, man. He had the Smack DVDs on lock. You know, every time he popped up on the Smack, I was on it. He feel like he had the hood on Smash. You know, everybody fucked with him. So yeah, Stack Bundles. I put Stack Bundles number 8. Rest in peace. Number 7, I'm gonna go with JoJo. Ooh. Now you shouldn't put guns to.
Yeah, no, he got
that.
Got
Put flowers, drop it. Nah, anyway. 7 is Jojo Pellegrino. I'm gonna go with Jojo.
I will not be censored. You will not tell me who I can and can't put gunshots behind.
You're right.
And
you know what's funny?
The theme of this is bullets. If you want to bring bullets to the party, this is what we do.
Nah, you're right. Number 7 is Jojo Pellegrino.
Oh, Jojo Pellegrino.
Jojo Pellegrino, yes sir. Again, his hype was pretty big. Where I Pump, when I first heard Where I Pump, I listened to that song today, Where I Pump, and I still get chills, bro. Like I played that shit maybe 2-3 months ago, and I'm like, why do I get chills listening to this shit? Like this shit gives me chills. Like he killed that song. He was, he would always pop up. He was killing freestyles for a while too. Never heard an album. He got signed to Theodore Unit for a minute. I thought he was gonna pop with Ghost under Ghost and all that, but he, I don't know, didn't come through. But Where I Pump is one of the best songs of mixtape era ever.
Excellent.
Number 6, your favorite.
I get chills when I drink Pellegrino. Who's number 6?
Number 6 is Love and Hip Hop's very own Saigon.
Oh,
Saigon.
Is he on Love and Hip Hop?
He was.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know
We
about
gotta
my
get the
history
back.
with Love and Hip Hop, right?
Nah, I need to know it.
I gotta tell that. I can't tell that during the live stream.
Yeah, okay.
That's gotta be.
Oh, really? I think you were gonna say during the list.
No, it's gotta be. That's an off-air conversation.
All right, so Saigon is my number 6. Saigon was, if people don't know, he was like the hottest commodity for.
He was the hottest commodity for HBO on Entourage.
Yeah, that's right. He was on. That's right. I forgot about that note. He was on Entourage. Jay wanted to sign him. Nas wanted to sign him. Everybody
And
was
Zeke
asking
took
about
a
him.
piss next to him in Dave and Buster's.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So Saigon. If nobody heard Warning Shots, that's a classic. It's an album. They label it as a mixtape, but it's an album. It's a fucking to me. It's a classic album. So that kind of helped right there with that first album. I know most rappers get that first album like a classic, but he legitimately has a classic album under his belt.
Yeah, and
with
Welcome
Warning
to
Shots.
Saigon is one of the harder tracks that went unreleased in that era, in my opinion.
Yeah, that beat is. Oof. I love that beat. Spam Jones produced that.
Yeah.
Number 5, Queens. Stand the fuck up. Ali Vegas.
Vegas.
He's actually he might be higher on this list, but he's one of my favorites, man. Early Ali. He another artist that has a classic under his
He's
belt.
the reggae guy, right?
No.
But he was the boxer.
Oh no, that's Mr. Vegas.
No, yeah. Ali Vegas is a rapper out of Queens. He was signed. He's actually Lamar Odom's cousin.
Is he really?
He really is. He was actually.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was actually signed to Lamar Odom's rap label.
That explains how he ended up on this list.
he actually got. From what I understood, he got paid like $1 million just to sign them. But he had hype. He was under He was under who was he under? Columbia, I believe. He was in Columbia. He was signed to Columbia early. He had a lot of hype, man. And another artist with a legitimate classic album of first, what is it? Generation Gap. Generation Gap is that album that's a classic.
Now I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you know how he got the name Ali Vegas?
Nah, I don't know if that was self-proclaimed or whatever, but nah, I don't know.
I was just curious because I know he's from Queens, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, what's the shit where you do it means something? It's an acronym? No,
yeah.
Acronym it is. So it's artistic, some shit, live, intelligent, gifted, some shit. All right. Anyway, number 4.
But his
he has
birth name is Ali.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So maybe they just threw the Vegas.
I don't know where they got the Vegas from, but his birth name, his rap name is Ali, A-L-I. His birth name is Ali, like O-L-L-I-E.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, you taught me something. Anyway, he had a lot of hype, man, and again another artist with a classic under his belt. Number 4, this is when it starts changing to more known rappers. Again, though, this is more my favorites. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Nature from the Firm.
Nature.
Yes, sir. We already know what he did on
Nature.
Yeah,
now
we already know
I'm
what he.
confused. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
He's 98. He's 98.
No, I'm not confused. I thought he would be above this list.
When he was rapping like that?
I mean, I see what you're saying. Actually, now that I think about it, I get it. I do get it.
No, but you're right though. H, because I thought about that too. Like, does he really fit this? And like I said, this is where it changes. Like these guys are more like known and
I feel like his coulda is on a little bit higher level than the rest
Yeah.
of her. Everybody
Yeah.
else is like their couldas is they could have been Nature. Nature's coulda is another level.
Exactly. And I think these three coming up are gonna be with Nature. And that's funny because then I also thought about doing another list of like underrated or like I don't know how to label it, but and I thought about him being in that list, but I kind of brought him down to this list. What were you saying though, Flex?
No, that you said Nature was 98, so he was putting out all those albums when he was 80 something.
Flex was just dropping his.
He should be on this
he's
list.
Just cooking and dropping his dropping his punchlines low key.
He should be on this list. This fucking guy. So Nature, first album is a really good album. I wouldn't say classic, but it's a really good album. His freestyles, top tier, and we already know when he's featured.
He had that amazing music video, Struggle.
Yes, he did actually.
That I shot.
You're right. And we met him actually a couple of times.
I mean,
we were together.
Yeah.
We were together, hanging out with Nature one time. But anyway, Nature.
I still have
put
all
him
the
up there.
footage from that video too.
I do too. He was signed to the Firm, right? He had that beef with Mega. He had a big buzz around him, but he just never panned out. So that's why he kind of ended up on this list. And he had that one real good album of, pushing classic album.
And I guess the next one
You're not gonna get it, but go ahead.
for Mega.
Your volume is mad low all of a sudden. I
Yeah,
don't know
facts.
why.
Why is that?
Did you move the mic or you turned it
Yeah.
down or something?
No.
Nah, and Mega could have been on this, but he's more of my underrated
Mega
list.
could have made the coulda list.
He's actually, to me, I put Cormega a little under more underrated. I put him more on like kind of like what H was describing. Like Nature's probably shouldn't be on this list type thing. Like I think
I'm actually looking right now. I see that there's an interview with is this DJ Vlad? Yeah, this is the DJ Vlad sit down with Saigon and Ali Vegas.
Oh, what?
From last year.
I gotta see that. Yeah, so they're both on.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send me that. So Nature, yeah. So number 3, I'm gonna go with $500,000.
$500,000.
Another firm affiliate.
So this is just Queens rappers who you thought were gonna.
Well, he's actually a Brooklyn guy.
Come on, it's more, you can't reveal the recipe.
No, this isn't even Queens. All of these guys are in Queens. We got one Brooklyn.
No, Queens affiliated.
Did $500,000 have a track on the Belly soundtrack?
Yeah, and that's how I was gonna bring it up to you guys if you didn't really know who he was. He's the one that LOX rap freestyled over the some niggas blood and some niggas is bitch, some niggas thugs. Yeah, so that's $500,000. He's on the Belly soundtrack. Yep. He's also on the Firm album. He's also on the Firm album, and he killed that verse, man. He killed that fucking verse. Put your guns up or guns up. I think it's guns up. But his first album is borderline classic also. I think it could have been a classic, but back then we kind of put more songs. You know, like had he taken 1 or 2 songs out, maybe one, it would have solidified a classic to me. But he's one of my favorites to this day. I fucking love $500,000, man. I have his jersey. My man's made it. He's one of my favorite of all time. Like,
excellent.
I love him. I actually compare my when I was asked, I like who's like the rap that you consider yourself. I actually made myself a $500,000 Cormega comparison. Yeah. So number 2, Flex, you might get this if you would really dive in, and H you probably would too. But I'll say Clue. I'll say that Clue, and then I'll see if y'all can get it. And it's not Fab, obviously, because Fab made it. With 98. Nobody?
Clue. Professional 1 or 2?
He's not in none of those. He's more of the freestyle Clues.
So it's not Papoose.
Lyricist, no.
It's gonna piss me off when you say it.
All right, I'm gonna say it. Nah, I didn't put L on this. Because he's higher. Cannabis.
Oh, Cannabis.
Yep. Cannabis. I put Cannabis on here.
Cannabis.
First album, I love.
But you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga's ass like me.
Damn, you had to go there.
That was where his career ended right there. He could have been something until he spit that line. Then it was.
You know, they asked him that, and he was on Nems's podcast, and they asked him. That's the first thing he said. And you ain't got the skills. He said it just like that. Some shit. You ain't got the skills to eat niggas' ass. And he was like. Whatever, he explained it, whatever. That shit was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what he was trying to say, but
yeah, of course, it didn't mean that. Then, nobody even thought about doing that back then.
Yeah, but back then you said shit like that. Like I'm gonna
get it's funny because I'll never forget when we were in high school. I forget. I say I'll never forget, but I forget a detail of it. I forget who it was that was saying this. I remember the person's face. I just can't remember their name. But they were spitting that line, spitting the lyrics to that was Second Round Knockout, right? So spitting the lyrics to Second Round Knockout out loud. And when they got to that part, they were like, "But you ain't got the skills to eat it." I ain't even nobody's ass. They just stopped right there. I ain't eating nobody's ass. And I like that for whatever reason. That memory from high school always stays in my head. It was one of the I forget the kid's name, but you would know him.
Say he was one of the kids from the group home. Go say it.
It was one of the kids from the group home. You got me.
Say it.
Damn.
So Cannabis number 2. Obviously,
I think his name was what? Now that I've been outed, what was his name? Yeah. His name was
Gary.
No, not Gary.
He was I think he was the Jamaican dude.
No,
you might have even been there when this incident took place. What the hell was his name? Maybe it was Gary.
Who? Flex or me?
Both of y'all. But I think since Flex just said it was one of the kids from the group home, that leads me to believe that he was present for this incident. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now,
Hit us
anyway,
with number
cannabis.
one.
So 2 is cannabis.
2 is cannabis. Now, this was a little. I thought, obviously, I really thought about this list, and my number 1. This is more of like everything all together. Like
now, before you go to number 1, can I just ask you something about cannabis? Because I'm interested in how you view cannabis, because I always thought, from what I heard of cannabis, that he just was insane, had insane lyrics, punchlines, etc. Obviously, but I feel like I never really saw him. I feel like I never really saw him doing anything more than what he was doing, and I also kind of felt like he wasn't putting out a lot of mixtape shit. Not like everybody else was. I feel like and during that time, it was like every time a new mixtape would come out, every couple of weeks, whatever it was, it was like there were a couple of artists who you always knew were gonna have at least one, if not multiple, joints on the next mixtape, and they were like building mixtape careers, catalogs of tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember. Cannabis would sprinkle a track here or there, but I felt like his consistency was never really there. And was I missing tracks? Was I not copping the right mixtapes, or how do you view that?
So, I think Cannabis was like, I want to say ahead of his time, but I can't say that because right now the music is the opposite of what we expected it was headed. So, Cannabis. To answer your question about the freestyles, he was on the right the right mixtapes, right? Like when he was on the clues. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because I'm trying to think about when I go to think about like when I go to think about an artist from that era. Artists' favorite tracks and favorite verses of mine from those years, from late 90s, 2000s, whatever. And I could go to a bunch of different, obviously, there's D Block, Dipset, G Unit. There's so many mixtape tracks that never got released that were some of my favorite tracks. And I think about Cannabis, and I never really viewed him that way. I can't think of a Cannabis song like that was from a mixtape that was fire, or like a run that he had. I feel like he
didn't build his buzz.
Yeah,
like the traditional way that you built your buzz back then.
And it
because he put out an album that just came out like off the buzz of that diss track, but then I feel like he put out another album without any singles coming out.
Yeah,
or anything being put out.
He put out albums that weren't really albums; they were really mixtapes. Like, I feel like he didn't build a mixtape resume outside of the albums. I feel like he just put out the albums. They were basically mixtapes that were being sold at stores. Yeah. But I felt like he didn't have that same type of presence in the mixtape world as the rest of the people that you're describing. But again, I would say that could just be me. Like I can't think of a mixtape track from Cannabis. I can't think of one.
So yeah, I think that's just I don't know, maybe where we were at that time. But he's like one of the older guys. So he's like, this is 98, right? This is 98, 99 where he was in the buzz. So this is pre-artists making their own mixtapes. This is when you were still rapping on the big artist over industry beat. This is that era, right?
Yeah.
This is when he had his buzz. His buzz was DMX like his buzz was so big.
That's actually a good comparison.
But the reason I say that is because they came up around the same time, and they were the biggest names, and they actually had a mixtape that was very popular. It was called DMX versus Cannabis.
I remember that.
And it had all Cannabis's.
But all of those songs ended up being Cannabis's debut album. Those are all the same songs. Most of them.
they were most his features well, they were on that 1 2 3 4 song with Method Man.
Well, that was how the
Yeah.
beef started.
The whole beef started. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but Cannabis did have a
his-
huge buzz. He did have a huge
His
buzz.
demise seems like it was career choices. Like
I think
he didn't do the things that he was supposed to and did what he wasn't supposed to.
I think his demise was this, and this is really what I think. Because I thought about this. Right? I think he was trying to be, or he was trying. I'll say trying. I think he was ahead of his time, and where we projected hip hop to be. You get me? Like, but it never got to that. Like
Yeah.
it went back to the cycle of party before it went to that part of lyricism. You get what I'm saying? Like he was talking, like he literally has a song about aliens, of a conspiracy theory aliens. Like for real, like this guy was talking about.
He was ahead of his time in terms of like people didn't want to. There wasn't a market for the shit that he was talking about back then.
Exactly. But there's diehard like me that really love him and really appreciated all that.
Yeah, but you like that shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
That's
so
why it was super niche, and you just happen to fall into it.
Yeah, but I think you guys are underrating his buzz. His buzz was really big.
No.
For you to be mentioned with DMX, your buzz is.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
I do remember his buzz being big, and I feel what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, I never felt like, and that's why I say DMX is a good comp, just because DMX was never really, I didn't really feel like he had that same type of mixtape presence either. Like, I feel like he shot right to superstardom so fast that he was making albums, and he was like a pop star before he even had a chance to, you know, kind of sow his oats in the mixtape world. And I feel like maybe Cannabis was trying to do the same thing. It just didn't work out in the same type of way.
Yeah, because also the other thing you got to think of, I was gonna say LeBron. DMX wasn't really a lyricist. It was his songs were based on the way he made people feel.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like I think that's kind of like why he took that step, or like that he was able to step over that.
Yeah.
But you know, like Cannabis, it was a lyricist, so you had to impress people with your lyric. If that's what you did, you had to do it with lyrics. But that takes a lot of time when you're doing it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
Definitely.
You're not able to sing. You can't hop into the, because like white people don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? But white people, if you put a DMX song anywhere right now, every white person is gonna start wilding out. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's why he was able to, and also that energy was.
Yeah, X was just so different than what everybody was doing.
He was a one-off case.
That people gravitated to him, and his buzz was crazy, obviously with the sales and everything. But Cannabis, I think he did have a strong mixtape presence in the early '99, 2000s. But if you look up his best work is not even his albums. His best work is looking up Cannabis best freestyles.
Because I'm looking right now at the track list from DMX vs. Cannabis, the mixtape.
Okay, play them. Tell me them, please.
And, well, I don't want to go through the whole thing. It's 22 tracks, but I can just look at them, and all of the Cannabis track, because this is what I was remembering, and this is the only thing that I was saying, is that, like, I remember, like, so you have The Usual Suspect with, well, no, that wasn't even a Cannabis. That was a DMX track. You have Desperado, which was on the Firm album. You have Niggas We Roll With, which was on his album.
Yeah, so
you have Gone Till November, which was a Wyclef album song.
Yeah.
You had.
I wonder when this dropped though. Was this after his album or before?
This was before. So then there's 4 tracks that are labeled Cannabis Freestyle Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. And I remember that because I remember all 4 of those freestyles were verses that ended up being on his album.
Okay.
And that's the only thing
So
I'm
it
saying
kills
is
the
that,
bu-
like,
it kills
his
the buzz of
tracks,
the album.
Like, while there were artists who were making music for mixtapes, I feel like his freestyles just became his album, and that was it.
Yeah, I guess his album had a lot of it had a few songs that like storytelling, or like he has a song where he does a whole story of being inside his mom's womb. Like that's like he's so like
I'm well aware of Cannabis. Cannabis.
And also, I think
hard for
part of the problem is also he was a weird looking dude.
Yeah. I think he was just.
We're overlooking that.
I think his brain was just like
it was weird.
He was into things that hip hop fans. He was into. His brain
that's
was into
the biggest thing. What you're saying right there. He wasn't. He didn't. I think he was a nerd, low key. I think he was a geek.
Definitely.
He's
the first guy I heard.
He was West Indian. He was from Jamaica. He didn't have that same kind of. He didn't have the same kind of connection to the culture. You know, like he was kind of like a standalone, and I just feel like that he wasn't able to advance his promotion and his career in the same type of way he would have if he would have made that, a different type of, if he would have had more of a relatability.
Flipped over to soca.
Yeah, and I think he's also very arrogant. Like he thought he was so good that he almost kind of he started talking about Clef.
And once he tried to go.
I said it 10 minutes ago. Career decisions.
After taking the L to then say, you know what, I'm gonna go after Eminem now.
But yeah,
mistake.
So now, all right. So
could've.
This number one.
He should be number one. Actually, now that I think.
Has anybody spoken about Cannabis more than we've just talked about him?
No. In the pod, I doubt it.
Since 2000.
It's not a lot. Yo, you know what? There's not a lot of real
about Cannabis real soon. Actually.
Yes, there's not a lot of real hip hop like podcasts. Like the podcasts that claim to be super hip hop is more like now hip hop, like underground now. Like you don't get a lot of content like this unless Cannabis is on the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even then, they're not asking the right questions. Like, yo, bro, I bite my fucking fist when I hear it. Like, yo, ask him what everybody wants to fucking know, which is nobody but me. Anyway. I was setting up to make that joke and you took it from me. Because nobody really gives a fuck, right? Like I'm the only idiot that would do this fucking list. Anyway.
No, but this is interesting. This is good conversation fodder. But now I want to hear who's number one.
So number one, okay, now this is the guy that I put number one because of everything. Like,
can we guess?
Everybody. No, you're not gonna get it because he's so left field.
Make one guess and I'm gonna make one guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we get a hint? If it's so out of left field, I want a chance.
Bronx.
Okay. Peter Guns.
Okay. Lex.
I mean, I think I'm gonna go with the. I saw the comment in the chat that said that he hasn't seen it yet, but he said Lil Wayne.
Yeah, he got it. Bronx. Yep. I'll give you another hint. Well, H would have probably guessed it. All right, so
you just confused the shit out of me. I thought you were serious. I was like, no. What? Lil Wayne, Bronx.
So let me give this disclaimer. So this guy here, I kind of put everything into it, right? Like his position, his could be fan base, or since he's under he was like directly under a big artist, like
Cuban Link.
Yes, sir. He got it.
Oh no, for real?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh shit.
Nice.
And reggaeton too. So with the reggaeton era too. And I thought he was. So Cuban Link is my number one. Can I get my gunshot, please?
Excellent. Wait, no. That's.
I'm mad that I got it when I and I was just fucking around.
So yeah, my number one.
And he was about that too, so
yeah, he really was about that life. So Cuban Link is my number one. Now, I just feel like after Pun's passing, right? He had like a window where he could have taken over like that slot, right?
Yeah.
That slot.
He had it set up for him.
He had flowers for the dead.
Yeah, he had flowers for the dead. He actually had that single Always Telling Lies to Me. That shit was everywhere.
Yeah. I forgot about that track.
That shit was everywhere. He had that sex appeal, like all the.
It was everywhere in the Bronx.
In New York City, right?
Yeah, no, the Bronx.
I don't think.
The Bronx.
It felt like it was everywhere, but I don't think.
Maybe it got
mainstream.
Maybe it got to 145th. You know what I'm saying?
Well, nah, it got through. It got in the boroughs, bro. It had to get in the boroughs, bro. It had to get in the. It was all over the boroughs.
I don't think it made it to Staten Island.
All right, there you go. I'll give you that.
He ain't have the toe for that one.
Yeah.
So,
he ran out of gas on the Verrazano.
Yo, I'm picturing fucking Cuban Link walking across the Verrazano.
You're terrible.
With a gas can.
And a tank top, right? Definitely has a tank top.
Yo.
His haircut on point,
hilarious.
So Cuban Link, I put my number one, because of again his positioning. I thought he was a shoo-in to step in for after Pun. I feel like he had a lot of commercial appeal, and he was nice. He could spit. You know, he was a good spit. And if you, I don't know if you know what, like his album didn't get released and it was like a big deal. And,
yeah, I remember.
Well, yeah,
that.
I remember that. I just remember that being a big part of why he ended up having that beef with Joe.
With Joe, yeah.
And also, wasn't he like? Is this like urban legend, or wasn't he supposed to do like Scarface Part 2 or some shit?
That was his son. He was supposed to be Scarface's son. I think that was an urban legend, though.
I don't know. I'm just
I think
saying.
it made it to I think it made it to a magazine, though, right? I think that's why I read it. I'm pretty sure that's why I read. Maybe.
So I'm saying, like,
what magazine was this information found in?
Hey, Flex said it.
Was this in
I second
Feds magazine?
It might. You know what? He might fucking have just
might have
been
a
100%
Feds
accurate.
magazine special.
Yo, man.
I think this motherfucker is 100% accurate, though. I really do. Either that or in the back of the source. And like that back, like when the picture, right after
when they did the little sections.
Yeah, like the pictures. No, you know the pictures where it was like one, and you look who it is.
It was after the graffiti trains part of the source
segment, yeah.
And after the lugs ad.
In the back.
So Cuban Link, yeah, man. So and I want to say another thing about Cuban. So years later, his album did like release, but it was never really released. Like if you hear it now, you can download it, and they'll say promotional use only, like randomly. So back then,
wow.
But back then it got leaked.
So
it's
not fully released.
It's not,
it's
but
on probation.
Yeah, but that
it's
album,
almost like an urban legend too. Like,
it is it's a 100% urban legend, and it was a fucking fire album. Like I had the CD and it would say promotional use just like that all the time, randomly. But the fucking album was fire. So you know that's another could be classic album or up there, real close to could have been a really great album in Cuban Link.
What year? And that was only one album, that right?
That was one album.
And what year was that?
I want to say 99.
Must have been like 2001.
Yeah, 2001, 99 maybe, because it was recorded when Pun was alive. Because Pun featured on it.
What year did Pun die? 99.
No.
Yeah, it had to be 99 because I was in.
Didn't he drop 99? No, he dropped 98.
I think it was 2000.
But I was in.
I think it was right around there. Right around.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, because I was in 10th grade and you was in 9th grade.
I'll say 2000. He passed. You can look that up.
Yeah, I got you.
February 8th, February 7th, 2000.
Still remember that shit, man. And it happening close to here too. I remember that shit. That like made it worse.
Yeah, he died at the very beginning of 2000, February 7th, 2000.
I said it, 7. Ooh. I remember. You know why I remember? Because I had the fucking poster on my wall.
Nigga, you wore the poster. You wore the poster to school on the shirt.
I might have.
No,
I had a shirt. I had a shirt with. No, I had an actual shirt with that same picture. I don't know.
No, but you taped it. You taped it on. You taped it on the one with the, what was it?
These are the
Puerto
real
Rican
urban legends being told now.
Yeah, nah.
No, because
I don't remember that one.
Because you wanted to scrap with Dwayne
Over
The
it.
Rock.
over
Johnson.
it. Yeah, no, Dwayne the football player. I remember that shit in
Dwayne
art
the
class.
football player Johnson.
Miss that was your boo.
Who's
what's her
Boo?
name?
Well, don't be
Cheeks
throwing
Boo.
boos my way.
No.
Cheeks Boo.
Cheeks boo.
Me? Oh, you talking? I'm thinking you talking
Yeah,
about.
nah, it was in
like
the art
H1.
class. In the art class.
That's right. You're Boo. You.
Yeah, it was art. It was an
Who's
art
my
class.
boo?
Man.
Who was my
Yeah,
boo?
she was skinny. She
Who
was
wasn't
fine
your
too.
Boo?
Who?
It was the skinny art teacher, man. That
I
she was.
remember, man.
No, was it art or was it some other funny class that we
Oh,
had
I
to
think I
take?
know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
don't
remember
know.
her name, but I do remember you having
I haven't.
some sweet relations with one of the staff over there.
Nah.
I haven't thought about her mad long, and I just remember in that class because she had to separate y'all because you really wanted to fight this dude,
Wayne.
Dwayne. He was a football player.
And
From
wasn't he
Arsenal.
like a little chubby?
Yeah,
I know exactly who you're talking about. I know exactly. I don't remember his last. I know exactly who and what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, man.
He was he came
Yeah,
from
remember
Arsenal?
remember he brought like
Didn't he
tried,
live in Ossining?
He brought him try to dunk on him and he took his legs out or some
And
shit.
he broke his arm.
Yeah,
Yo, where's Ibrahim?
Yeah, Ibrahim was the most athletic
he's
fucking
African.
human I
Nigga,
ever
what the
saw.
fuck you think?
Bro, that motherfucker was insane. I was like, I used to be like wild by it.
Nigga
remember he-
invented dunking.
He used to fight all the time. I hated that shit.
Yeah, because he was bigger than everybody. Of course
Yeah.
you gonna fight.
Yeah, I remember he fought with the cats.
Always wanted to play tackle football with all of us because he was bigger.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
let-
realize that you and
I hope he's watching.
Cuban Link have the same name. I didn't realize his name was Felix.
His name is Felix Delgado, actually,
Yeah, I didn't
which is
realize
my
that.
grandfather's
Delgado.
grandfather's
That
name.
that was a perfect baseball name. Right
Yo, word.
So yeah, man. I just want to close on Cuban Link.
yeah, I got about 5 minutes, my brothers.
The Terror Squad movement was one of the greatest movements I've ever witnessed. The way that
Shit.
Hispanics just came out of the woodworks and were like
that's
so proud,
disappointing,
and
bro.
it's like, anyway. So that's why Cuban Link is my number one, because I feel like he tied into the category fully, like as far as potential, a position, and he was talented. I thought he was talented, and he had sex appeal too.
And I think that he actually was a bit ahead of his time, or at least ahead of the era. Because had he been, some of the crossovers, Latin stuff he was doing, some of the reggaeton stuff that he was doing.
Yeah. I love that Don Omar
early
song.
for that in terms of like it being a part of pop culture. It was still, like popular radio and shit like that wasn't really fucking with it back then. Had he come out with that stuff maybe like 10 years later or even closer to now, he might have had a whole different career.
But that, even when Nori and Joe were jumping on that reggaeton wave, it should have been him.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be. It couldn't because Fat Joe was the connection to New York.
Yeah.
Feel me? Nori and Fat Joe were the connection to New York.
Like
for
you
the
had
the
two niggas that
reggaeton
didn't-
era.
You had two niggas that didn't know how to speak Spanish take over like the dude that was like ingrained into the like the old, like he was the real Hispanic out of all of them. You know what I'm saying?
He was
Because,
born in
like,
Cuba, and he fucking came with that the Freedom Town. He was.
But
he
that's
was
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
boat with
He
Freedom
was
Town.
I'm saying, like, I hate when it happens because, like, of course, Fat Joe. Everybody knew he was Puerto Rican, but he was
And Cuban,
Dominican, but he was Bronx Puerto Rican. Like,
Mhm.
he didn't speak. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he was the
barely
Bronx.
spoke. Mhm.
Like, he is the Bronx. Puerto
Yeah.
Rico. The Bronx is Puerto Rican, but
Mhm.
Fat Joe was Bronx, but he wasn't really. We didn't really consider him Puerto Rican. We considered him from the Bronx because the Bronx kind of meant Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Actually,
saying? Back
early Joe didn't rap any words in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's I know.
What I'm saying is like
I know.
Like even though we knew he was Puerto Rican, he was from the Bronx. That's just what Fat Joe was. He was just from the Bronx. That was the shit. It wasn't like, oh, that Puerto Rican rapper from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That was like, and then when obviously that came, like that was his lane, because obviously since the Bronx is the Puerto Rico and the Bronx is one and the other, especially back then. Like obviously you're gonna go to the Bronx kingpin, which is Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously that's who you're gonna go to, but I'm saying it was just like that lane was like slipped out from under Cuban Link. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And I actually have in my notes reggaeton as another pinpoint, like just a artist that could have been a lot more popular and had a lot more success.
If he came out like maybe 3-4 years later, that shit. Him and Don Omar.
They did a song. I like that song.
But I'm saying like if he was at his buzz hype and with Don Omar in that time, dog, come on, man.
Yep. And now he and Fat Joe never patched things up, right?
They will never. Remy was asked about that, and she was like, "That should have never happened."
Terrible. Yeah, I can't believe you didn't put Papoose on the list. Speaking of Remy, but what can you do?
I thought about him in 10 or 9, but again, Blitz being on Nas albums and Nino being the monster,
and Jojo Pellegrino giving you the chills. So.
Hey, you know what? I gotta hear that song. Listen to that song. You'll tell me you don't get chills.
What's it called?
Where I Pump or Where I'm From. Either one. Let me just give you a little. Yeah, let me give you this though. I think it is Where I Pump, or is it Where I Pump? Anyway, let me tell you this. I first heard that song.
Where I Pump is where my kids came from.
Let me tell you this little thing. I heard that Jojo Pellegrino song over the Where I'm From beat first. Like it was a freestyle, like it was like that.
Jay-Z Where I'm From beat?
Yup. And that shit went so fucking crazy. Then it disappeared for like 2 months and it came back over its own beat and it was fucking even iller. He's a fuck. Yeah. That song, for one song to bring you like this hype is crazy, bro. And that's how that song gives me chills to this day. Anyway.
On that
note. That's my list. That's my
beautiful.
list.
Well done. That was worth the wait. That was.
I think we took too long on it though. I feel like
no. Listen, it wasn't even that it was too good that it was more of like we could have done a full episode on that.
Like, I feel like we did.
Yeah, that was a two-parter. That was the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I can't wait for the athlete rappers ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that one, but that one I don't know if it'll be as exciting as this one though. But
I'm gonna.
It's not as exciting because we already know Kobe's the number one.
Is it?
I'm just fucking with. Go ahead.
Is he?
That was a joke. Go ahead.
No, I got
DK Metcalf.
Top 10 jewelry aesthetic.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
I like it.
Stay tuned next week. Top 10 jewelry aesthetic. That's a good one. I'm excited for that. All right. Until next week, what you gonna do? Where I Pump and Where I'm From.
He just broke out on me.
Huh?
All right, fellas. Nah, my shit really just stopped working on me.